Okay, people, welcome to my first video. For this video, I want to make this video for people that might consider playing Chrono. Or maybe have tried it already, or maybe you haven't heard about Chrono, but you really like Legends of Runeterra. Chrono is basically, I would say, almost its successor. It's a new TCG created by former Legends of Runeterra players. They poured in a lot of love. It's a very ambitious project, but they have released the beta about a month ago, and I have thoroughly enjoyed the game. I was a big Legends of Runeterra player. I'm not a competitive player, but I really liked just coming up with cool deck ideas. So I was really heartbroken when Legends of Runeterra killed off PvP. And then when I saw this game releasing, I was really hyped. And sometimes you get really hyped, you know, people promise you things and you get let down, but not in this case. Not in this case. This game is it's really cool. It's really similar, but it also has some distinguishing features which are actually really cool. But I will not get into all of it at once. I just want to, for this first video, show you a deck that is very reminiscent of Viktor Shadow Isles, if that was ever a deck, but at least the champion Viktor from Legends of Runeterra. I would like to sort of recreate the feeling of playing this deck. I know a lot of people liked it a lot, where you would play a bunch of created cards, get Viktor to have a lot of attack and a lot of keywords. And we actually have a very similar card in Chrono. It's called Roiling Amalgam, and it immortalizes, which is leveling up in League of Legends or Legends of Runeterra, into Ziv the Adaptable. Now, this is sort of Viktor tied in with the discard package. It's really cool. So every time you discard a card while Ziv's on the field, he gains a random positive keyword. And once he's flipped, which he does after you discarding 3 times, he doesn't have to be on the board for this. He gets this random keyword, but he also flourishes. And flourishing means he gets +1/+1. So this guy will just become a really big robot with a lot of keywords. And that's basically the win condition of the deck. We try to get a big unit. We try to get him evasive, which is Chrono's way of saying elusive. Or maybe overpower, which is Chrono's version of overwhelm. And I think it's cool to show you this deck. I want to start with this deck because you will learn about the keywords that are here. Most of them are the same as in LoR, but called a bit differently, as you might have noticed. There's also some new ones. And I think that's really cool. And if you really like the Viktor playstyle, or if you liked LoR in general, I would definitely try out Chrono or even this deck. Now, apart from this deck being very reminiscent of a Viktor deck, what makes this so great if you're starting out is that you know how cards have different rarities, right? Usually. So there's common cards, rare cards, divergent cards, which were called epics in Legends of Runeterra, and lost cards, which were champions. Now, to get that out of the way, this game doesn't have champions, but instead it does something far crazier. Every agent, every unit can immortalize or level up. So you can imagine if you have a big board with, like, I don't know, 6 units on board on both sides. There's a lot of mental load to keep track of. When are things immortalizing? What does the immortalized card do? It takes some getting used to. It can be quite overwhelming initially, I'm not gonna lie. But I've been playing for a month now, and well, I've been playing a lot, but I really think I could tell you every card's text right now, and you get a feeling for it. Just like in LoR, when I started out, I had no clue how to even play digital card games. To be honest, I never played Hearthstone, for example. But at some point you just know, right? You see a Zonite Urchin and you just know it's a 1-mana 2/1, discard a card, draw a card. Just like efficient Scrapbot. But in this game, because every agent can immortalize, once efficient Scrapbot has seen you draw 6 cards, it flips and it becomes a 1-mana 3/2. And every round start you draw another card. So you could say it's better than Zonite Urchin. But every card has this this effect to immortalize, and they all have different conditions, and when they flip, they do different things. It's really cool. But back to the point about cards having different rarities. Mostly, the archetypes you want to play revolve around some lost cards, right? That just makes sense from how do you say it, a financial perspective. Also, you want people to buy into lost cards or to spend a lot of time in the game to get lost cards to build that one archetype. A great example of this would be Fractal Phantasm, which is actually the deck we're going to run into in a bit. So maybe it's nice to tell you now. This card is temporary. It's very similar to the spooky shark, the shark chariot from LoR. Although this card can defend. It's temporary, which is ephemeral in Legends of Runeterra. But it revives every time you shift to another timeline. Now, timelines are also a concept unique to Chrono, where certain cards shift to a timeline. Only one timeline can be active. There's a bunch of timelines. I will not, give you too much information at once, which I already might be doing. But what you have to know for now is that whenever they or the person that plays this card shifts, this card comes back. It grows in strength, and once it has 4 strength, it also creates a copy of itself in hand when it strikes. So the game plan of this card is to really get maybe 3, 4, 5 of these Quicksilver Kaelas on board every time you shift with a bunch of attack. It's very reminiscent of the Shark Chariot, where you have to attack with ephemeral units and then you get 1, 2, 3 sharks on the attack as well. And it feels really bad to block them because they will die, but they will do a bunch of damage. So usually you build your decks around these expensive cards. And then the more common cards, they do less interesting things, right? Like this is probably one of the most bland cards I've ever seen. Heal in LI1, give it +1/+1 this round. The cool thing about this deck is that Ziv, he is basically our win condition of the deck, right? We want to build this big robot. He's actually not a lost card. I don't know why, but he's not even an epic or divergent card. He is a rare card. So I decided for this first video, where we not only learn about the keywords, and maybe the game as a whole a little bit, I want to build a budget version of the deck, where I only use common and rare cards. So I will not use any divergent or lost cards. And we can already build a pretty nice deck. I'm going to be honest, it's not the most optimal, obviously. There are some cards you're really missing in certain matchups. But it's a functional deck, and it will be very cheap to get. Some of these cards you start out with in the game. For example, Stability Control, we play 3 of those. You get all 3 of them when you start the game, so you don't need to buy those. I think there's also at least 1 Efficient Scrapbot in the starter decks. 1 Somber Astronomer. All 3 Pocket Dimensions. Okay, I have not memorized everything, obviously, because why would I? But there's quite some cards in here that you already have when you start out, and then some cards you might want to craft. I will not go into the economics of the game. That if you're interested in that, I can make a separate video about it. But you should be able to get most of these cards pretty easily. Now the deck itself, it's centered around Ziv, as I said, and he wants you to discard a bunch. So it's not that hard. We type in discard, and we slot in most cards, actually all cards in these rarities that discard. They give us access to some removal. So we have Headbanging for deal 2. We have Rapid Iteration for deal 4. Consensus Override for another deal 2. And these decks the cards either discard, or maybe they want to be discarded, like Scout Around, which is like a jury rig basically. It's 1 mana 1/1 when it's discarded. And we have a bunch of these, and we want to have Ziv flipped ideally already at turn 5. He also discards a card himself, so he comes down as a 4/6, and if he is flipped before that, he will also flourish. He comes down as a 3/5 with a random keyword, or if he was already immortalized by you discarding 3 cards before you put him down, he also flourishes, becoming a 4/6. From there we have cards like Pocket Dimension, discard 3 to summon that many Pocket Scouts, Aggressive Recycling, where we can also discard 3 to very quickly make this a really big unit. Should your Roiling Amalgam or your Ziv die, we have some ways of getting him back, because he is essential to the game plan. We have 3 copies of Not So Fast, where we can revive the strongest ally. Now in this deck, I think he is the strongest ally. That's not entirely true, actually. Reductionist is stronger than Ziv, but we only have 1 copy of it, so in most situations I'm pretty sure you will get Ziv. Also, Reductionist is our other way of reviving him. We can pull him out, but he will be temporary, which means he is ephemeral. But we have a way around that with Stability Control. The card I just showed you already have 3 of if you start out. It's a really cool card. You can make your agent lose temporary. So if you revive Ziv with Reductionist, you can make him not ephemeral. Then you can make a card in your hand lose transient, which is fleeting. That might come up, not too often. But you also give another agent temporary, which is usually the enemy, right? And then the really cool part is this keyword here, Paradox, which is unique to Chrono. It means if there are 2 or more agents on the field with the same name, even if one of them is on the opponent's side and one is on your side, or they're both on the opponent's side, Paradox triggers, and in this case it makes the card cost 3. So it would be a 3 mana, keep your Ziv alive, kill the enemy card. Really cool. We have 2 copies of Build to Burn. Once you have a Ziv, maybe you want another Ziv, and you might not get him, or you might not want to pay 5 mana for him. With this card you can copy him, but he will be temporary. But once again, you could then play Stability Control to make him permanent. So that's some ways to get back Ziv, or to copy Ziv, get multiple of them. The rest of the deck mostly just summons a lot of Pocket Scouts, these little 1/1s. Against certain matchup they can be really valuable, as you will see in a bit. I think I will leave it at that. I don't have to explain absolutely everything. I think that will be overwhelming. I hope you enjoy this budget deck. And I'm gonna show you a game I played against a player playing Fractals, which is a very common deck right now. In the description I will put some codes. The developers have released some codes to get you started on the game, giving you some free packs, a draft ticket, and that should really set you up to start building this deck already. Alright, let's play a casual game with this budget Ziv deck. I typically don't play ranked. If you're interested in more competitive content, I can recommend Choco Tooney, BJ the Brave, Nick Makes Plays. They do meta reports, deck guides on competitive decks. Not to say I'm not a competitive person. I think I'm quite a competitive person. I think that's the problem. That's why I don't play ranked. I get quite worked up if I do competitive stuff, so I tend to shy away from it. So you will usually find me playing casuals. Yeah, I like building my own decks. I'm not great at it. I just like finding a few pieces that make like a fun combo and just have fun. It will not really probably get you a high ranking. So if you want to have fun, you can play along with me. If you are more interested in competitive stuff, definitely follow the people I just mentioned. I'll link them in the description. Okay, this is a Fractal deck. It's interesting they play Heretic as a diver. That's fine. We have drawn our Roiling Amalgam, which is great. That's our Ziv. So we are guaranteed to have him. Ideally, we discard 3 times before turn 5, so he levels when we play him. So that means that because he also discards, he gets a positive keyword, but he also flourishes because he comes down as Ziv and not as the Roiling Amalgam. So that would be great if we can pull it off with our hand. And then ideally we have a Pocket Dimension or Aggressive Recycling and 2 or 3, depending on the card, banked spell mana. Meaning we could instantly discard 3 cards. You will notice I need to get used to talking while playing. I might just black out at some point. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so we can discard 3 times, getting him +3/+3 and 3 keywords. There's only 8 possible positive keywords as of now. So 3 out of 8 gives us a decent chance of hitting stuff like Evasive, which is elusive, or Rejuvenate, which is regenerate, or a Siphon, which is lifesteal. All 3 I think are very valuable. Although against this deck there's a bit of a problem. They play a card called Curb the Anomalies. If you have played this game for a while or you've been on the Discord, you have heard people complain about it, I reckon. It's an 8 mana immediate spell. And if they have the 1 true timeline, which they typically have in this deck, it costs 7. And what does it do? It mutes the entire board for a turn, and it shifts to the 1 true timeline. Why is that so problematic? When they shift, this guy, this girl, person, thing, they come back to life. And every time they spawn, they get stronger, and at some point they're gonna duplicate, well, multiply. So that means we play Ziv. We have him like, I don't know, let's say in an 8-10 with all keywords. I guess that would make him at least an 11-13. And then we attack. They have 7 mana open. They play the spell. They mute our Ziv, so he goes back to a 3/5 without any keywords. They spawn like, let's say 4 of these with more than 2 attack. Like they would have at least 5 attack by then. They can just block and our win condition is gone. That's really problematic. The way we get around that is by not attacking when he has 7 or more mana, which feels really bad. But let's hope it comes up. I'm thinking, do I want to play a card? I can just bank the spell mana. I do have efficient Scrapbots. I also have to discard at some point. And we have Enthusiastic Bot Poke. So that's 1 discard. Next turn already. And then let's discard 1 card here. I just noticed we draw the second Ziv also. That's nice. That also means, assuming they play 3 Curbs. No, they also have a card, Snapback, which allows them to... Okay, wait. So that's 2. We could do discard 3 now and then automatically... sorry, wait. 1. We could discard 2 and then next turn we play this. We can't protect it. That's a bit of a problem. But let's do it. Also that gets us a white board. Not sure if we want to attack with it though. I don't think so. The thing is, we're a bit of a control deck, they're a combo deck. We're not raising them down in that sense. We really value cheap blockers against the bunch of Fractal Phantasms that they will spawn later. So I really value just having a bunch of cheap units here. Also the efficient Scrapbots will get us a bunch of cards if they don't deal with it. So I don't think we even attack here. Oh, we drew the third Ziv. There's times where you don't draw a medal and then there's times like these. Okay, do we play the Bot Poke? Because he has a card called Backhand, which is 2 mana, kill a unit with 2 or less attack or health. Now, if we get to flip him, he goes to a 3/4. And I think that's what we have to aim for here. And we can flip him. Well, we have 1 Pocket Scout here. Oh, actually, that's a problem. because we need 3. He flips when we have 3 of them, and we currently don't have the board space to get 3. He creates one himself, so we go to 2, and then this could create a scout around, which would then spawn a pocket scout. So that's 3, but we need the board space for it. We actually need 4 open slots, 1 for bot poke and 3 for the pocket scouts. So in light of that, we should have maybe attacked. But we can't do that anymore now, because they just summon a Fractal Phantasm. Yeah, and we're burning mana here. We have to assume he has the card I'm talking about, the backhand card. He has 9 cards in hand. I'm not sure I don't think this deck plays this card. Typically, if you use more expensive cards, I just really like it. It's probably not great, but it feels great to get a free discard every round and just see your Ziv grow if they can't deal with it. I think it's also a really funny card. Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. Well, we can't save that, but that gives us some board space. Also, he now taps below. The problem is, we still let's do it. But I told you the problem, right? We have too much board space here, because we need to spawn a 3rd pocket scout. So this one will be discarded end of round and spawn here, and he will give us another one at round start. So we can flip him at immediate speed, dodging the backhand. I think this is also their only viable target for backhand, unless you count an efficient scrapbot that is nearly leveled. But my point is, I think we're gonna have to attack with this guy. He will block, almost certainly, unless he realizes what I'm doing, which he might. It's only 1 damage, he can definitely take it. But this also seems like a free block. I guess he's thinking about it. I could have gone wider, but yeah, okay. Nice. Okay, so already you can maybe see how all agents being able to immortalize brings quite the mental load. Also, hand size is going to be a problem soon. We now have 9 cards. So let's say this one will be discarded, right? We go down to 8. But then at round start, this guy creates a card. And we draw a card, so that's already 10. So we're almost overdrawing. Let's see. We could also play Ziv here. But then we don't flip bot poke. No, we should not do that. We could also pass, see what he does. I think we should. These Kaelas are not threatening to us as long as we have pocket scouts. That's the nice thing about this matchup. If they don't kill Bill, that's interesting. I think we want to prevent that, and we can do that very cheaply, like this. That not only gets rid of this Kaela, but also kind of stops his Bill to burn, and that gets us. Oh, but this is interesting. So that levels up him, right? The thing is, they have 2 mana open. They might have a backhand, and then we can no longer at burst speed flip him. So we have to, and this is slow speed. So we have to do this, but we should not discard our scout around. Because if he has backhand, which he probably does, and we discard this one, I don't think we can then play it while it's on the I want to say on the stack. In League it's called the stack. Here it's called on the... Oh, I just forgot the name. It's not called the stack here. The chain. On the chain. So by doing it like this, yes, we do lose a card. Although, like, yeah, do we need 2 of these? But but we save our bot poke. And I think this might be a more important card almost than Ziv in this matchup, because we just want an infinite amount of pocket scouts. So we pass here. Like, we could play this card and flip him, but there's no need, because we discard it anyway. We don't have Ziv on board to get anything from the discards. This unit will flip at some point. What does he do? When I see a shift, create by the numbers in hand. Reveal the top card of both decks, create a copy of the card with the higher cost in hand, and shuffle both cards. Okay, that's... Oh, there we go. That's also the thing. Sometimes you think they will not have an attack, but as long as they have an attack, they can just keep spawning their Kaelas. So killing them out of combat could be risky. He only has one of these, right? Because it's his diver. So we could try to kill that at some point. Here we have a deal 4. And then, but we should do then maybe this one first, deal 2 and deal 4 on the stack. If we do them separately, they have a heal spell. So, but the heal spell is more than 1 mana. What we could, but no, he drew a recall card. He can recall it, which just sucks. So we want to block. We want to block with a pocket scout, and we do that by doing. But we also really want to get Ziv on board actually, and we can do that very safely now. This is gonna look weird, but this 3/2, I think in this matchup, is not worth more than a 1/1. We want to keep the pocket scout, and the reason I'm doing it like this is then we could play Roiling Amalgam with the scout around. Oh yeah, we have the board space for it then also. And then we flip bot poke, and we get him by flipping him. By flipping him, he also creates a scout around on activate, which will then discard end of the turn and give Ziv another flourish and keyword. So this is actually great, and they can't do much at 1 mana. This is perfect. We do it like this: we flip him, and then we flip Bill. Nice. So there's a bug going on where the artwork here is not really appearing. Yes, and now we get another one, and that's why I like this card so much. Every turn now we get 2 of these essentially at round start and on activation, and we don't have to do anything. We could either use them for our discard cards or just let them be, and our Ziv will start growing. I am wondering though if they also play the 4 mana recall card. I'm saying recall, but here it's called rewind because it's a time-based game. They might also have a card that's 4 mana that allows them to rewind my unit. Now, in the non-budget version of this deck, we have a card called Time Stop, which is like the Shuriman Deny from Legends of Runeterra. It just says clear the chain, which is the stack. Oh, we hit Siphon, that's nice. What am I gonna say? I have to think here before I finish the explanation. We have 2 more Zivs. If we want to play around that recall, we should play Ziv quickly so he gets he starts growing also from the discards, right? The thing is, if we do that now, we would be left with 1 mana to protect him, to protect both of them, which I would like at least 3, so we can grow them by +3/+3, or 4 mana to revive it. So we have to be a bit more patient with it. Also, we can't attack unless they now play something. And they don't want to, right? Because they're probably holding Curb the Anomalies. And they're thinking like, if they play something here, we attack with Ziv. We heal for 5, at least, because we could still discard a bunch. Is that the recall card? Oh, that's interesting. So this will phase Ziv. Phase is something unique to Chrono, at least it's not in Legends of Runeterra, where our unit gets removed from play and then comes back into play at the end of the turn or start of next turn. The start of next turn. But it will not trigger enter effects. Okay, we can't stop this. But that's fine. I didn't want to attack while he had this mana up, to be honest. Now discarding will also not grow him. He is just essentially out of play, but he is still visible on the board. Okay, I'm thinking we are holding 6 real cards. These ones will be discarded, and then we draw 2. Well, we draw 1 and we get 1 from Bill. I don't think we need to do anything here then. Let them deal with it. So we're trying to counter 2 cards. Curb the Anomalies, which will mute our unit, and then their Kaelas will kill him. And the 4 mana rewind card, where they will rewind our unit, which means he goes back to hand. Also resetting its progress. Yeah, killing him is worse, I guess, but resetting Ziv's progress is also very detrimental, because at some point we run out of... Actually, as long as we keep Bill alive, we don't run out of discards, because we will just get 2 every turn. And we have 2 more Bills, I believe. So that might be good. And we have scout arounds for days. Okay. I wonder what happens with my card if he... Let's shuffle both cards into their respective decks. Create a copy. Okay. So... there's not much we could... now we could play the second Ziv. Wait. Oh, that's amazing. Wait, so... We will replace this one to not get you confused. And we need to discard a card, and we can just discard this scout around. Because the phased out Ziv will not see that anyway. So this Ziv rolls Rejuvenate, which is a really good keyword to have. As long as they can't play Curb, which they can't. So I'm thinking, if we play and they block with Harker or the Heretic, we go down to 3 health, which is still outside of the range of Backhand, which they haven't played yet, because we've played around it, so you haven't seen the card yet. But it's the card that kills a unit with 2 or less health or attack. So we could attack here. No, wait. No, they can... Wait. This is a slow speed card. Can they summon Kaela at burst speed here? I don't think so. But also, I'm fine with not risking it. If you think about it, what does it gain us? We get probably 1 holder of the instruments, or we do some damage to them, but that will not really make a difference here, right? I also think we will not play the third Ziv, because we do need Wotpoke, a Bill, and we need Scout rounds to block the Kaelas. At some point they will just run a lot of Kaelas. The interesting thing is we could consider leaving these units alive actually, so that he can only summon at most 3. That's probably smart, so we probably shouldn't have attacked before, because he wants board space at some point. Like, so far he only has 2, I think. Okay, that card has to die, because once it immortalizes, he can shift to Erudite Beacon, another timeline, every turn. How do we do it? So we could do this, and he's gonna recall it, right? And then we could put this on the not the stack, on the future. Get this back. We could play this on the chain, but if he has the second recall card, this cheap value. I'd rather have him recall now and then play it again. And then play this, I think, because then he at least has to spend 3 more mana. Does give him a second shift and another draw. But if we look at his hand, he has had 10 cards. So actually, we don't mind him drawing. Shadowsmith. Okay. So we are about to level this unit, efficient scrap bot. Let's just activate here and pass. We are not in a hurry to spend mana. We are in a hurry to spend some cards, but they're all quite cheap. But we're fine with just passing rounds, right? Like we discard 2 every time, so we get +2/+2 on both these units. They get 2 keywords. So we're really not threatened. And we can just trade off these 2 pocket scouts because we get them back. I might even be fine with trading off an efficient scrap bot at some point. Because what do we even want to draw? Like, I think we're just kind of good into his deck. But I might be forgetting about something here. So we could just do these 2, we get them back. And the great thing is we don't want to kill this unit. Because like I said, he can now play a Kaela, but he already has 2 in the graveyard to respawn. If he plays, he can't even play it, but let's say he could, and he could respawn 3. He won't, because he only has space for 2. Yeah, he overdrew, so he lost a firm hand. That's nice. So let's see, he has 10 mana, so he could play Curb the Anomalies, so we can't attack with Ziv. How many cards do we have? We have 9 cards in hand, but we draw a lot, because this draws us another card this timeline, and this draws us a card, so that's 3, with this one is 4. So we have a big problem. So I'm saying we play aggressive recycling now. And let's draw 3. We're not at risk of much here. And let's get rid of... Oh, I don't know what to get rid of. I don't think we have time. We have to get rid of cards here. I think, yeah, we should have just discarded these. He is also overdrawing though. We have the bigger deck right now. Should it come up, if your deck is empty, you cannot draw anymore. You take 1 damage for the first card you're trying to draw that you don't have, and then 2 for the next one, 3. I forgot what it's called in other games. I have not played games where this mattered. But that's different from Legends of Runeterra, because there, if you deck out, and I think at the round start, if you draw a card, you lose. I think if you draw a card by some other effect, you just don't draw a card. Could be mistaken. I think it's a bit of a stalemate, right? He doesn't want to tap below 10, because then I will attack. Or it doesn't tap below 7. Yeah, so we lost a bunch of cards there. He also lost some cards. We are growing every turn. Like, our Zivs now have 8 attack. Yeah, so... Okay, there he is again. We don't kill him. He only has board space for 1 Kaela. Okay. So I'm thinking now. Let's do this. Discard 3. I'm not sure what to discard. I think we can just discard all of these 2. Yeah, Pocket Dimension also. Let's just do this to get all the keywords. We are still at 10 cards though. This is becoming a problem. But that's fine. We don't really need cards. We have Zivs. What did I say to do against the recall card? Oh yeah, that's why we played the second one. Yeah, okay, so... Okay, that's a problem. If he drew 2 of these discard cards, or 1 and then I guess snap back. Although he can't do that at burst speed. Play it, snap back, and then play it a second time. He doesn't mind our units getting large, because he can just recall them and we can't stop it. Although he doesn't know that. He might be waiting for us to tap below 4 mana so we don't play the deny spell. But he doesn't know we don't have it. But at some point he will be forced, right? If we open attack next turn, he would be forced to... let's say... Okay. Oh, great. Okay. So, this is how it might go down sometimes. If the enemy realizes they can't beat Ziv because they don't have removal for him, for example. And this goes for a lot of control decks. The moment the opponent realizes you will eventually win, but it might still take some time, right? Because we're gonna keep playing around Curb the Anomalies. They might just surrender at some point. I think here he mostly surrendered because he realized his board was not ideal. He just played 5 non-Kaela units, so he can only spawn 1 at a time. We block it forever. He could have killed Bill, because he runs a card that allows him to shift the timeline and grant our units exposed, which is vulnerable in Legends of Runeterra. And then he could have dragged Bill and then stop the infinite Pocket Scout generation that way. We could play a second Bill. We didn't draw him, but he doesn't know that. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think he's right. I don't think he could have won. Unless we don't draw the second Bill. But I think Bill wins us the game there, not Ziv. So yeah, he didn't get to see Ziv attack. But hopefully you can still appreciate the deck and how it works. And how sometimes it's more about the idea of Ziv attacking than Ziv actually attacking. If you play League of Legends as well, you might compare it to Blitzcrank, where, you know, hitting a hook is great. If you miss it, you lose all your pressure. So it's usually very nice to not hook and just threaten to hook and keep the enemy on edge. And that way you have a lot of pressure. That's kind of a nice comparison for me to Ziv, to stay within the mech theme. So yeah, that was an interesting matchup. The deck the enemy played is a deck you will see a lot actually. So if you find that deck annoying, you could play this deck, and you probably should slot in Bill, even though most people don't, because that would actually a nice counter. Yeah, not much more to say here, I think. I hope you enjoyed the game. If you like this type of content, so once again, I'm explicitly not competitive. I just like having fun. I think this is one of the decks that are quite fun. I was really drawn to Ziv the moment I saw him. You could subscribe if you want to, and I will probably be publishing more videos. I'm just starting out with creating some videos, figuring out if I like this thing, you know, recording myself and putting it out on the interwebs. But I'm probably going to release more videos, and if I like it, this might be a long time thing. Let's see. I have already a few more ideas. I'm going to introduce to you another deck in the next video, probably. It's very reminiscent of Noxus PNZ aggro. And I really like another card called Somnus, which there's not really a fair comparison for it from League. But it's also really cool, especially if you like more grinding control decks like this one, you will enjoy that deck as well. Also, every month we get 6 new cards. It's almost a new month, so very soon, I think next week, we'll have 6 new cards. And I think it could be nice to do a video where I theory craft a bit about how these cards could be used for these fun combos I talked about, you know, creating some fun decks. I have some cards in mind that are like interesting for combos that might now be not reliable or they're missing a piece. And I really like when new cards come out, not to think about their viability necessarily in terms of competitiveness, but more like does this slot in any of the deck concepts I have in mind? And I think that could be really fun. Okay, I guess that this will mark the end of the video, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye.